Hi, welcome back to this little Quantlab session on parallel computing in QLang and how to debug a parallel computing workspace. So we're going to go back to an old workspace that we did before that compared single thread calculation to the parallel calculation. And we have this heavy calculation that we're doing in a local function that we can parallelize when sending vector arguments to a scalar function using the keyword QLC parallel. So if we want to debug this thread by thread, we can now do this in the Quantlab debugger environment. So let's see what happens if we run this. You can see that we stop at the QLC parallel at the breakpoint, and then we have worker threads, and we're running this with 7 vectors, 7 size vectors going in. So we're going to use 7 threads to do this calculation in parallel. So if we now press F11 to go into the function, we can see that we end up in the breakpoint in the function that we're calling. And we can see that we're using 7 threads, and the 8th one is idle as we're not using that one. So we can see we can now use and look at any of these worker threads and then step using F10 just as usual to continue with this specific thread. And if we want to finish this thread, we press F5. And then that's idle. So now we have to look at another thread to see what this thread is doing, and they all stopped at the breakpoint in the parallel calculation. So we can finish that with F5, and then we can do this for all the remaining threads that we want to look at to get out, and then we're done with this function. And we also have the possibility to race all the threads. So if we do the same thing once again, F11, and if we want to look at this thread, given that all other threads have finished, we can press Control F5, and then we have raised all the other threads that have finished, and then we can just step with the thread that's left. So if we, for some reason, need to finish all the other threads in order to debug the last one that we're interested in, we can press Control F5. And that's the feature. It's available from Quantlab version 16.13. And if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to call. Thank you very much.